Hello, this reading is for Capricorn 2024 kind of forecast or something like that. I was starting to pull cards for Capricorn. I'm not going to lie. There is like this big story in here. It's almost like a true crime documentary of some kind where there's like this hacker energy who's trying to get in, and Capricorn just keeps giving them a way out, and they keep running away from the ticket to freedom. It's like Capricorn energy is trying to deliver people from their life of crime to like to a pasture, and it's just not working out. People just aren't taking it. Bit colonial, but still. The Chariot, nice car, Capricorn. Nice new car. Who got a new car? Ooh, Hot Wheels. I'm seeing a new car. It might not be new. Yeah, it might have curtains in the windows, but it's a new car. It's wheels. And it's pretty because you think it is. New vehicle of some kind, something on wheels, like a bicycle, a car. A new wheelchair for somebody who's rolling around one of those. It's a bit flashy, but it's going to be a cool ride, is what I'm seeing. It's like it gets you home, you know, like it's nothing, it takes you home, and that's all that matters. It's like point A to point B. I see you having a way of transportation this year. That's a new way of getting around. And whatever it is, because it takes you home, because it helps you to get home faster, it's good news. And then there's this more stationary energy over here that doesn't move around. It's like you move around and someone else doesn't, and someone else wants to move around. Careful, when you get a new car, and you're somebody who gets a car, people want rides, right? Free rides. Capricorn. I'll just walk. Oh, this is getting too good. Your energy is very like... what I'm getting most is these stories, and it's very storytelling. You're going to have some stories to tell at the end of 2024, and they're going to be good stories too, like intricate, movie-worthy stories. Just everything. The cards are coming out very, very in a very funny, like yet predictable way. Could have seen that coming. Okay, come have a ride. Like, it's just kind of like, no, you're like, oh, I'm going, do you want a ride? Like, no, I don't need a ride. I'll just walk. And it's like, come on, get in, you know? Maybe like the Gemini reading, there was like, people are kind of a little bit jealous sometimes, but it's not that they're jealous that you are succeeding. It's that they're jealous that that you have moved to a place where they don't get to see you much anymore. Ooh. Okay, and you're giving away. Now the Six of Pentacles is like you're giving rides left and right. Maybe not giving rides to everybody. It's like you're giving rides to people who need rides. I see you picking up hitchhikers or something of the equivalent. If you don't have a car, it would be like something like you're generous, charity, giving for the sake of giving, but not giving because people are... Do you know when somebody wants something from you? And there's a meme about it from way back. It's this girl, and she's like, oh, look, well, I guess that's something I'll never have. If only somebody would buy it for me. You know, they just say that thing out loud while they're in a store with you. thinking that, you'll hear them and say, oh, come, let me buy it for you. That's what I feel like this is like. You're not going to be giving away things this year to people who are that way. It's getting a bit much. There are maybe some people who, it's like pride gets in the way. People would rather sometimes have that feeling of taking care of themselves than to be given, to ask for what they need. And so they maybe try to manipulate you into giving it to them, into offering it to them without them having to ask. I just see that as like not a thing this year, like kind of done with that. And especially if you're somebody who has, it's like a car is a good analogy because you have things to maintain here. You can't just go give rides to everybody, and you have to be able to discern who you give rides to and who you don't. If you were to give rides to everybody, you'd never get to where you're going because you'd be constantly, you're not a bus. This isn't public transportation, although a little bit more, maybe you like giving rides to people. But it's like you can't take everybody. So it's almost like it has to be you have to have some kind of a limit, to who you give a ride to. And I feel like there's just in 2024 this sense of separating, cleaving off, or even just recognizing the difference between somebody who needs it and somebody who maybe needs it but isn't ready to ask for it, or isn't ready to put themselves in the position to recognize that they need it. Maybe they know that they need it, but they're too prideful to ask for it. I know that sounds maybe a little bit like you want people to beg, but it's not true. What it is that you can't share in the joy of giving with somebody who is being manipulative. And this has to be for you as much as it's for them. That's what it's about. This reciprocity. 2 of Cups. This year is about pursuing reciprocity for you. That's a big one, Capricorn. Pursuing reciprocity. And the Hermit. There might be a Virgo to help you out with that. I don't know. I see the Hermit's looking down at this and basically shining a light on reciprocity, realizing that in a way it all gives you something. Like when someone's being manipulative or somebody's like trying to protect their pride, they're willing to take something from you, but they don't want to be seen as somebody who took something from you. So in a way, it's somebody who won't be giving anything to you whenever they have something. Meanwhile, somebody who is acknowledging that they're stuck in a place where they need something is somebody who will, as soon as they have something, and if you need something, they'll be there. Or maybe this person used to give you lots of rides before, and maybe you remembered that because you were this type of person. I was going to say like Virgos, somebody said. Yep. Mother Earth takes care of me. This is one, oh, here we go, Capricorn. We've been reading about this energy, and I don't really know why, but I feel like it's for this reading. This has been a big message coming in. People like to say, I'm a part of nature, like things will work themselves out. Nature will take care of it. The universe will take care of it. And they don't acknowledge the acts of service that are actually involved in taking care of them. Like they would downplay your work and say, well, that was just the universe taking care of me because I deserve it. And there's an awakening coming up this year, like a global kind of mass awakening coming up to the nature of this stuff. It's an insidious thing that we've kind of fallen victim to almost, like the spiritual world has fallen into this trap of, giving credit to the universe for things that people are providing with their labor. And that's going to stop this year. It's going to be revealed. We're going to remove the barriers to seeing that type of thing this year. And in that kind of like, oh, the universe is providing for me, whenever somebody takes something from someone else, exploitation, we have to be firm, Capricorn. I'm speaking directly to you. I feel like everyone has their varying degrees of like what part they'll play in removing these barriers to, and one of the biggest barriers that we'll face is going to be the one inside of us that the failure to discern between what's reciprocal and what's manipulative. I'll call it a failure because Capricorn can handle that word just fine. And maybe because you are open to hearing that word, recognizing I wasn't doing something I ought to have been doing or I should have been doing, that doesn't now we know what to do, right? So that's cool. Capricorn, to the point. But that's going to be the one we encounter the most, not because it's the most deadly barrier, not because it's the most it's the thing, not because we're the perpetrators of all of this or it's our fault. It's because you're the only one who can change that about yourself. And so that's the one you're going to be encountering the most. The universe is going to take care of a lot of the work that needs to be done in terms of we're all going to be doing this together. And your work specifically, you might have a few other things to do, like rides to give people. But discerning between those who are participating in reciprocal relationships and reciprocity with nature, and those who are manipulating you to preserve the entitlement of pride. This is your work. You have an assignment, soldier. It feels that way. It feels like it's an assignment. Here's something for you. It's a little bit of extra for you so that you can understand why it's so important to do this work. The big thing is that whenever anybody says the universe is taking care of me or the nature takes care of me, that and we said that earlier, that there's something about recognizing that you have value just because you were born. You deserve to be here. You deserve to be here. And you deserve to be treated kindly. It's not that you never deserve that. It's that sometimes we miss out on a certain message that is what nature actually is. If you want to go out into a forest and sit down and experience a year out there, the forest will take care of you. It just might not be the type of care you want. The forest knows what to do with you. The forest will take care of you. But the forest is ruthless. If you're not survivable, if you don't have survival skills, you will die. And that's how the forest takes care of you. So we have this taking care of me thing. The universe is taking care of me. But we talk as though the universe is specifically interested in our own self-interest. Meanwhile, the universe can't be interested in our own self-interest or the things that we would find enjoyable or pleasant if we don't put ourselves in the universe, if we don't see ourselves as a part of the universe. And to see ourselves as a part of the universe is to see ourselves as a part of everything that's happening, and to recognize that when somebody donates their labor to our cause, that we are taking, that we are extracting. And if we want to be a part of that exchange, we have to be reciprocal about that. Sustainability. We're going to maybe get a little bit away. I think if I have a prediction for like the tarot world, I hope, is we're going to start getting away from this. The universe provides. I'm highly favored. All that bull, like there's no need to say that stuff. Go do that stuff. It's about works. It's great to have a saying that lets you believe that you're entitled to things without doing the work. And that's called exploitation. And if you want to be somebody who exploits, then yes, the universe will take care of you. And for you, Capricorn, this year, you're being tasked with carving out the division line. You're not judging people. You don't have to judge who people are, whether or not they're worthy of your service. It's actually in everybody's best interest. It's in nobody's best interest to be an exploiter. I just heard, there's, oh, my twin. You also enjoy zeroing and pulling out the stuffing and attacking the squeakers and the toys. I think it's a conversation. Dog is a Capricorn. Oh, Cappy. Okay. I see what's going on. I'm just reading the chat there. Capricorn. Not only, so a good sign, a sign that this is your task, is you're going to be given an upgrade. You're getting a car or some kind of vehicle, like you're getting a company vehicle. Then this is your sign. Whatever the equivalent of a company vehicle is, you're going to get new digs of some kind. Like you're going to be rolling around in something, and people are going to, you'll have the ability to help people. And when you get this new car, when you get the company vehicle, you're expected to use it for company work, see? Not to say that you didn't earn that car, that you didn't buy it or whatever. It's saying you buy the car and you start driving around in it, and people start asking you for rides. And what are you going to do? Say no all the time? You're going to have to develop some kind of a policy. And then people start trying to manipulate you into giving them a ride every day or something. And you, like, I don't know. I'm not going to get into, all the details. You'll figure all that stuff out. This is like, it's not bizarre that your work should be to discern who you should help and who you should pass on the road. If you help everybody the same, you won't be helping everybody. Not everybody needs the same thing. You have to show up for what people need, not for what people are willing to manipulate for. And we're all manipulators in a way. We all do this, and we all need someone like you who is willing to pass us on the road when we're being manipulative. Because that's part of being reciprocal as well. Because we can all think back to a time when we were trying to be manipulative and somebody passed us by, and we know exactly why. They don't tell you, but you can feel it. You weren't chosen. I wasn't chosen. There was a time when all of us weren't chosen because we were being kind of shady. And the part of us that wants to sustain that manipulation is not very happy about it in that moment. But that unhappy moment sometimes leads to some growth that we'll later appreciate very much. Sometimes what people need is for you to pass them by. Not because you're judging them as undeserving of your help. I hope you can kind of grab that it's not that you're judging people. And how are you supposed to discern in this world other than by your own impressions? It's fair. Knight of Swords. You're judging me. And then they find a way in. So we got this like hacker energy. There's somebody who's like kind of incessantly trying to get at you or get through to you via manipulation. And it's getting old at this point. That was just a little story. So that's for somebody in particular. And you haven't done enough to deserve this level of anger or pursuing. Like, I don't know. Do you have don't take it personally. Take something from Aries energy. Don't take it personally. Also, you are going to have to deal with it this year, because it's like it's incessant. There's somebody who's incessantly trying to, you for some reason seem like, to somebody who's kind of feeling entitled to what you have to offer, and they can't get in. It's one thing to pass somebody by on the street, and hopefully that sends the message, but it doesn't always send the message. Sometimes you get people who just keep on trying. They don't get it. It would almost be like, at one point, it might even seem like you haven't done anything to deserve this, or like you haven't done enough. You couldn't have done even enough damage to justify how upset somebody is with you for passing them by. This is both ways listening. And I see that the cup is over here, right? Communication, listening. Some people, especially, we're getting this thing, like a discerning factor, is that this is like the act of not listening. Somebody's not hearing what you have to say when you pass them by, when you don't pick them up at the side of the road, when you don't respond to their manipulation. You're getting a go-ahead to continue making those discerning decisions this year, because that is the work and that is your assignment. You probably already know that. That is the part that the role that you're going to play. It's going to be in changing yourself and being a leading example of this type of thing, so that the more we have exposure. Do you know what I'm seeing more and more of? I'm seeing there's a lot of those, I'll scroll through TikTok, right? And every once in a while, there'll be one of those kind of like, I don't know. In Canada, we have the convoy people. They're like these uber weird fascist type people who are all very obsessed with personally attacking the guy who's prime minister right now, as if it's not the system that's the problem. and they have, it's a lot like Trump supporters, right? Similar thing. We have it up here too. And it's like, and none of the things they say make sense. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, they're like, the earth is flat and the COVID, the vaccination's given us the 5Gs, and like, that's the type of stuff, right? That comes out of, and they're still at it. And it's like, really, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to, like, it seems like a manipulation, right? Like, it's irking. It can get kind of frustrating to listen to it, because it seems so ill intent. There's so much ill intent hiding in it. Like the let's go back to the good old days perspective. Well, the good old days were when we had more inequalities than we do now. Racial inequalities, gender inequalities. Like, what would going back to there do for our cause of having a more fair country, kind of thing? So there's that. Like, this is, maybe I'm getting like qualifying energy of what type of stuff we're talking about here. Because the analogy of driving down the street and passing, giving some people rides and giving other people, not giving other people rides. It's kind of like, well, maybe that it'll express in this way, but really it's a little bit more like what you engage with. And here's what I'm going to say, because passing someone by on the road might sound a lot like don't engage with it. And that was something that was kind of growing momentum, was this thought that you just ignore it and it'll go away. Except, have you ever had a situation where you keep ignoring it and it keeps coming back over and over and over again, and they're just not getting the message. I don't know about you, but I've had a few experiences like that. And it just gets, and the attempts get, I don't mean to put, they get dumber and dumber every time. I'm sorry, like, whatever. I shouldn't be putting this on a recorded reading. Capricorn, we might have to redo your reading. I've kind of gone off the rails in your reading here. I'm getting a bit hungry. I think that's what it is. I'm hangry. Ooh, I think that's showing the shadow side of a Capricorn, the convoys, because I can see both sides, the people that will give a ride and the ones that criticize people that don't drive. Yeah, Cliff Bar. It's time for a Cliff Bar. I'm getting angry. I've been 1 year without Cliff Bars, solid. I think, oh no, not a whole year. I quit Cliff Bars, everybody. It happened. I'm on the noodles now. Don't think they're any better. Okay, we're back. Sorry, Capricorn. This is a recorded reading for 2024. What are we even doing? This is the nature of stuff that we're talking about. That it's all fine to say you just don't give a ride to somebody who is being manipulative. But the thing is that they keep coming back, and you're trying to work here, and they're getting in the way of you being able to do the thing you're trying to do. And you might have all the best intentions of the world of discerning between who and who shouldn't get your attention. But when somebody is like throwing rocks through your window, or like, you can't ignore it. Ignoring it doesn't work anymore. You have to address it. There's something to address. And so what I was saying about the TikTok thing is, I felt like, don't you just want to pop into the comment section and just be like, what are you talking about? Or something like that. And some people will say you shouldn't engage with it. And I've been paying attention to what happens in those things, because some of it is kind of funny sometimes. You can read some pretty funny stuff in comment sections. And I've been popping in there for a good solid year now, just taking a look whenever I see something like that, just to see what I notice in the comment section. Also because I feel like there's a lot of like bot accounts that like follow these types of accounts. So it's actually kind of like, it's a lot of it's political strategy, and it's all kind of like sponsored stuff. And I just want to notice it when it's there. And what I've been reading more and more of, people are starting to speak up. In an environment where we were basically like, the thing to do was just to not engage with it because, the algorithms are going to promote their post, and then more people are going to see it, and it's going to spread the hate. And now people are just getting like, you know what? Like, in the comments there, people are starting to say stuff like, and smart things too. Like, we're getting the language of how to deal with this stuff. We were new to it, and we didn't know what to say. And until we knew what to say, this energy was going to use our kind of words to manipulate us. But now that we're starting to evolve in our understanding of what this stuff actually is, and we're starting to evolve in our understanding of how much it doesn't serve the community, and how much we have to be kind of like deciding where we stand. We don't stand against people. We maybe stand for their growth. And they'll consider it to be a stance against them if they're still in a position where they feel entitled to things that they ought to be working for. Or they feel, and that's the irony of it, because this is like in the political world, this is like the first brand of people who feels like everybody else is riding on their backs. Meanwhile, all they have to do is read a page of something, and they can't bring themselves to do that. So it's the intellectual labor, I feel, is more it, Capricorn. It might have seemed like the thing to do to not engage with this stuff. And I'm not saying you should start blowing up comment sections whenever you see something you don't agree with. What I'm seeing is a motion toward just ignore it is not the only way it's going now. And I actually feel really good inside when I see that stuff, because when I've been seeing we see those posts, they're just kind of like irking. And if I open up the comment section and I see a bunch of people who are kind of like, hey, that's not cool. That's bigoted. That's not, that doesn't bring us into the future. Smarten up, in the comments. And then I'm like, oh, whew, okay, not all is lost. And I have this big sense of relief because I see people advocating for the humanity of it. I think there's something to be saying for you have a tool, a platform to speak up might be equivalent to a car to give someone a ride. Share your thoughts this year. Develop your ability to say things that you want to say. Learn how to address things that you previously kind of said, I'm just not going to deal with it. That's 2024 for Capricorn. And I feel like we can all take a little bit from here, but Capricorn is just going to be leading the way in this department. It's cyber stalking with catfish accounts and other nonsense. Oh, what's this? I choose not to engage with someone who's been stalking me, but she doesn't stop. She won't give up. I keep ignoring. Aw, that's too bad, Scorpio. That sucks. Other nonsense. Sorry, I was just reading into that. No, it's too bad. Hopefully it works out better for you. All right, we're going to go. Thanks so much for watching your reading for 2024. Thanks for hanging out with us. Come hang out with us at the live stream. Same name, but on Twitch, where the tarot is way better. And away we go. Happy 2024.